move this along.
Oh, up front.
Get lunch. Welcome to the topping off ceremony for H1 at the Helix. So you never know who's going to show up. And Mr. Garrett is here, and Jose. And just before we start, Senator Sweeney's here. Really great that he was able to come. Probably no legislator has done more over the last 10 years for us, the work that we've done in New Brunswick, really kind of putting together the pieces for us for the Performing Arts Center and work that we've done in Livingston. So thank you, Senator Sweeney. You're here someplace. And also, before we start, two of our earliest partners and enthusiastic supporters of the Innovation Hub were Hackensack Meridian Health and Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health. And Bob Garrett's here. Bob Garrett is actually the first person who actually signed the MOU and faxed it back right away. I think it's because Jose Lozano may have forged his name, but we're not sure. I was hoping to introduce Senator Helmley today, but I will settle for George Helmley, Executive Vice President of RWJBH, who was such a strong supporter when he was the Governor's Chief of Staff, and then didn't miss a beat when he moved over to RWJBH. And while you may have a brief run in the Senate, George, maybe we could talk about an appropriation for the Helix. So most of you appreciate that there is more to a topping off ceremony than the opportunity to get out of the office early on a Friday, stand on a messy construction site, eat a box lunch, and go home with a souvenir Helix hat, which you should all make sure you take home. Topping off ceremonies can be traced as far back as the ancient Scandinavian religious rites, but my favorite tradition is in Finland, where a national flag is hung from the top of a completed structure by the construction workers and stays in place until the owner provides free beer to all the workers. So Nokia and Severine and Matt Corliss, please take note for the H2 topping off, because I will be supplying the Finnish flag. Today we celebrate a milestone, a job well done by members of the building trades who have assembled 5,136 tons of steel, poured 10,536 cubic yards of concrete, started to assemble all kinds of our mechanical systems, and they've done it safely and on schedule. And while you guys, men and women, worked through a pretty hot summer, we're hoping that today you will be re-energized and motivated when you go back to work, as you hear today how important the work is that you're doing. You're building a place where the next generation of physicians will be trained, where discoveries in labs will lead to cures, and where early stage companies will move from startups to commercialization, growing the New Jersey economy. I'm sure that there is not a mayor in New Jersey who has participated in more groundbreakings, topping off ceremonies, and ribbon cuttings than Mayor Cahill. And when you look behind the curtain, the progress that you see in this city over the last 32 years-ish, 34 years, rests squarely on his shoulders. I'm fortunate that he has allowed our team from DevCo to come along for the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mayor of the great city of New Brunswick, Jim Cahill.
Thanks, Chris. There's 2 years that you forgot about, and those are the ones we probably didn't do much. So it's really exciting to join with you today. Our city council members that are here with us today: John Anderson, Suzanne Sikora Ludwig, Petra Gaskins, Manuel Castaneda, and Matt Ferguson, as we mark this significant milestone in the construction of Helix NJ, and specifically H1. This topping off ceremony represents the progress of this remarkable project and the continued growth and revitalization of our city. But H1 is more than just a building. It's a symbol of the commitment of the state of New Jersey, Middlesex County, and New Brunswick to innovation, sustainability, and economic development. This project will bring new opportunities, stimulate innovation, and create a dynamic environment for our residents and visitors alike. So I applaud everyone involved in bringing this vision to life, especially Governor Murphy, our state legislature, including our 17th District Representative, Senator Bob Smith, and Assemblyman Kevin Egan and Joe Danielson. Yes, you can please clap for them. The NJEDA, Rutgers University, RWJ Barnabas, Hackensack Meridian, and of course our partner Middlesex County. Special recognition must go to the city's redevelopment partner, DevCo, and Chris Palladino, whose coordination and leadership, has been instrumental in the success of this project. DevCo has long been a driving force behind so many of our city's transformative projects, and H1 is clearly no exception. Chris, you and I have been doing this stuff for over 30 years. We probably are knocking on the door of $10 million in redevelopment projects during that time. Did I say million? I meant billion. If I said million, I meant billion. We know and appreciate the value of dedicated union labor in each and every one of our projects that we've done in rebuilding New Brunswick. So to all the dedicated workers who have put in countless hours to reach this point, thank you. Your hard work and dedication are evident in every beam and every floor that has been constructed. Simply put, New Brunswick's revitalization would not have happened without you. So as we look up at this impressive structure, we are reminded what we can achieve when we work together with a shared purpose. H1 is not just a building, and Helix NJ is not just a complex. It's a statement about the future of the state of New Jersey, Middlesex County, and the city of New Brunswick, a future that is bright, prosperous, and full of promise. As we place this final beam, let it serve as a reminder of the heights we can reach when we aim high and work together. Thank you, and congratulations to everyone who is a part of this incredible journey. Thank you so much.
I just want to recognize Vito Nardelli, the Vice Chairman of DevCo, Mr. Polos, the MCIA, is back here. Kevin Egan's already been introduced, but he told me I had to say it anyway. And Commissioner Rob Angelo is with us from the Department of Labor. You never know. One day, the mayor and I always talk about this, and we walk away from an event saying, boy, we wouldn't really like to tell the real story. And I think someday we're going to co-author at least a long article. But I remember walking into the transition office to talk about something else, and Professor Van Horn pulling me into his office, and he says, we need an idea. And I said, well, we got an idea. And over the next couple of weeks, he and I kicked this around before we sat down with the governor, and this became, a reality. So you're never quite sure how these things happen. We've accomplished some extraordinary things with our partnership with Rutgers University. These partnerships have resulted in the Honors College, the Yard, the new academic building, NB-PAC, 15 Washington, and Newark, and now the first phase of the Helix. And it often starts with a call from Tony Calcato, who says, hey, I got an idea. Tony and his team, David Schultz and Laura Berman, have been our partners from the beginning, and this building grew from 175,000 square feet, which we were ready to do groundbreaking on, to 575,000 square feet with the addition of translational research and the Rutgers School of Medicine. And Tony, no matter what you say, we're not done yet. One of the terrific things about working in a city with a major research university is that it constantly infuses new energy into an ecosystem. New students, new deans, new presidents, and new leadership at the Board of Governors. Amy Towers is energy personified. A successful businesswoman and philanthropist, a Wisconsin Badger who's adopted the Scarlet Knights. Amy has been awarded the Audrey Hepburn Humanitarian Award by UNICEF. Amy has founded a foundation to provide aid to children in the developing world, where she's made incredible strides on food insecurity, HIV/AIDS, and education. Chairperson Towers understands that innovation is a stepping stone to make the world a better place. I'm proud to introduce the chair of the Board of Governors of my alma mater and my friend, Amy Towers.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning. Again, thank you, Chris, and to DevCo for so many things today, not the least of which is bringing us all together to celebrate the exciting progress of H1 and the entire Helix project. It's great to see so many familiar faces and such a privilege to join so many distinguished guests, partners, and everyone who's made this project, this building, and this day a fabulous reality, including, as has been remarked before, so many good working people, but not the least of which are minority and women-owned subcontractors who account for more than 1/3 of the value of this project. As mentioned, I'm Amy Towers, Chair of the Board of Governors of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey. It's hard to believe that it was only 19 months ago that the Board of Governors approved Rutgers' commitment to the Helix redevelopment project as part of Governor Murphy's strategy and absolute commitment to grow the innovation economy in New Jersey, right here next to Rutgers. We're so proud to be a key partner in this project, to have a beautiful new campus for our medical school, and to have exceptional translational research facilities. The value of RICH represents one of the single largest investments in life sciences translational research in the history of our state. Rutgers is the right partner for the Helix. Last year, we received over $950 million in research grants and sponsored programs, a new record for our university. And we are poised to cross the $1 billion mark next year. Yes, Rutgers received over $250 million in National Institutes of Health funding, also a new record for the university, and the fastest growing part of our research is in the life sciences. Rutgers has world-class students, world-class faculty, world-class researchers, and we are redefining our world with their ideas, innovation, and entrepreneurial energy. This is what excellence looks like. This is what excellence looks like at Rutgers, the state of New Jersey, and our future together. And all of this is more powerful and made possible by the leadership of the university. I have the privilege of introducing our president, Jonathan Holloway.
Good morning. I am pleased to join my fellow speakers to mark this wonderful milestone on a project that is great for Rutgers, great for New Brunswick, and great for the state. I'd like to brag just a bit about the State University of New Jersey. Rutgers has a long history of public-private partnership projects, P3 projects, here in New Brunswick as well as in Newark and in Camden. Using P3 allows us to partner with developers, once again DevCo for this one, to take advantage of funding, strategies, and outside-the-box thinking that delivers projects on time and on budget. P3 projects are often complicated, and the Helix is among the most complicated we've ever undertaken, but it's also among the most transformative public-private partnership projects we've been involved in. This project not only offers extraordinary financial benefit and mission support for Rutgers, but also provides economic and societal benefits for the state. I highlight the third P in the term P3, partnership. We would not be celebrating the topping off, placing the last piece of steel atop the framework, if there were not such a strong partnership among so many. Some of those partners are here today. Some of those partners will be in the building with Rutgers. And some of the partners will not occupy the building, but have worked tirelessly for years knowing the impact that this development will have on New Jersey's innovation economy. This partnership began in 2017 when candidate Phil Murphy campaigned on creating and advancing the innovation economy for New Jersey. Upon his election, Governor Murphy made good on this promise. One of his very first announcements was the creation of an innovation and technology hub to benefit new businesses in New Jersey through startups and relocations. In order to accomplish this, the governor pulled together a number of core partners, including Rutgers, and charged us with bringing the idea to fruition. Led by the New Brunswick Development Corporation, an in-depth study of opportunities was conducted. Years of physical and financial planning began. Now, here we are. And as you can see from this skeleton of steel now complete, we have landed in a place that not only brings the New Jersey Innovation Hub to fruition, but also significantly improves Rutgers' standing both in the delivery of medical education and in translational research. The final steel beam would not be going in place. Two significant financial commitments from our partners at the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and from our legislative partners in the State House along with our governor. And while those financial commitments are critical, let's not forget that the final steel beam would not be going into place without the talented work of hundreds of men and women on site from our partners in labor. Just as I extend my gratitude to those partnerships, let me also thank explicitly Governor Murphy, Speaker Coughlin, Senate President Scutari, Mayor Cahill, Chris Palladino, among so many other key contributors. This is an exciting day. Concrete in the ground, steel rising into the sky, and today, the ceremonial highest beam headed into place. Now it is my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Brian Strong, Executive Vice President for Health Affairs at Rutgers and Chancellor of Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences. Brian.
Thank you, Jonathan. And as always, following Jonathan, I need to pull the microphone down. Today marks a milestone, not only for Rutgers Health, but for the entire state of New Jersey. What H1, which we now refer to as the Rutgers Health Building, will soon be the new helm of Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, and very soon thereafter of the Rutgers School of Medicine. You will hear much more about that shortly from its dean. It will also be the home of 80 new Rutgers Health translational researchers, deliberately near their principal teaching hospital to make it easier to translate their discoveries into patient care. Together, they will be a stimulus for a thriving technology community here at the Helix site. As it redefines the skyline of downtown New Brunswick, it is both a monument to New Jersey's prominence in the history of scientific and technological innovation and a beacon for our bright and boundless future. As many of you know, and as Amy already referred to, Rutgers is the largest federally funded research institution in New Jersey, responsible for half the state's funded research and 75% of the state's NIH funding. In fact, Rutgers has more extramural funding and NIH funding than all the other universities in the state put together, with nearly $1 billion of research dollars secured in our past fiscal year alone. Since the merger between Rutgers and UMD&J and the founding of Rutgers Health a decade ago, Rutgers Health alone has secured $3.7 billion in extramural funding for the state. This achievement fulfills the Restructuring Act's promise of building a biomedical research powerhouse and attracting more research funding, especially but not exclusively federal funding, to New Jersey. Even more significant than the rise of the structure and our rise in national stature, however, is our unwavering commitment to our missions and the communities that we serve. Rutgers is dedicated to ensuring that every person in our state has access to health care. This new facility will help us achieve equitable health outcomes through our research and our close collaboration with our local communities, literally translating our discoveries into cures and treatments, the definitions of translational research. A primary example of this work is the New Jersey Alliance for Clinical and Translational Science, NJACS, whose research will be a scientific cornerstone in this new Rutgers Health building. This is analogous to the NCI Comprehensive Core grant that the CI&J has earned, and the building around the corner, which DevCo is also building. NJACS recently renewed its NIH Clinical and Translational Science Award, the only one in New Jersey, an award which is approximating $50 million so far. Before the integration of UMD&J into Rutgers, despite being the medicine chest of the world, New Jersey had not only not won a CTSA, it had not even applied for a CTSA. We have now successfully secured this major award, renewing it with nearly double the original amount. It's an indication of where we stand and where New Jersey stands in the clinical research and clinical trials world nationally. NJACS now supports over 300 investigators statewide and fosters partnerships with more than 200 community-based organizations to implement real health solutions that work for real people. Research projects include preventing childhood asthma, treating opioid overdoses in the emergency room, studying environmental toxins, treating hypertension, preventing maternal mortality, and many more. By engaging our patients, community organizations, and stakeholders in our research, we ensure that our work is not just groundbreaking, but also grounded in the real needs of those who we serve. And that is how we create meaningful change. Along with our partners in the state, DEVCO, and Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health, as well as, of course, the building trades unions that have made all of this possible, Rutgers Health is shaping the future of healthcare, health equity, and health professional education in New Jersey. The future of innovation in New Jersey has never been brighter, and it starts right here in the Rutgers Health Building at the Helix. Thank you to our governor, members of the legislatures, county commissioners, and mayor for their support of this project. Thank you.
You can't have a topping off without recognizing the architects. Elkis Manfredi has been the designer of some of the most impactful urban projects across the country, particularly in the field of life science and higher education, from Los Angeles to Houston to New York City to Cambridge. But I doubt that they've had a greater impact anywhere on a skyline than they have had in New Brunswick. The Yard, the Honors College, NBPAC, the new academic building, and now the Helix, and soon H3, which will rise from this site. I often say that David Manfredi's real talent is that he sees things other people don't. And sometimes he actually takes my suggestions. But his focus always brings us back to the fact and reminds us that we're building buildings for people to work in, to live in. And when picking materials, as we were walking through Cambridge one day, and he always walks us past the building that we probably can't afford. Marissa Butchney became obsessed with the Portuguese limestone. And David said very clearly, well, you can't fake what God makes. So we have ordered the Portuguese limestone, actually in Tony Calcado's honor. But John Martin, who's always pulling the labor oar on this project, and he's one of Marissa and Garrett's favorites because when Marissa asks him to do something, he says, yeah, we can do that. So I do really think that, Elkis Manfredi has done an extraordinary job, and thanks for coming all the way from Boston today to be with us. From the moment Dean Bertha arrived in New Brunswick, I knew that things were going to be different. And it could not have happened at a more opportune time for the Helix. When the medical school was added to H1, Tim Sullivan and Governor Murphy, both in a text within a couple of seconds of each other, responded, "This is a game changer." Dean Murtha is the right person to make this ecosystem come alive. Dean Murtha is an established clinician, researcher, and administrator that has already welcomed the first class of medical students that will graduate from the rebranded Rutgers School of Medicine. Been at the forefront of recruiting nationally recognized clinicians to New Brunswick, and has played an extraordinary role in moving the partnership with RWJBH and RWJUH to the next level. So it's my honor to introduce, probably for the first time on this project, Dean Amy Murtha.
That's my crowd over there, by the way. So thank you so much, Chris. It really is an honor and a privilege for me to be here. My name's Amy Murtha, the Dean of the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. It's been just a little over 2 years since I arrived from University of California, San Francisco. I first actually want to thank and welcome everyone assembled today. DevCo President Chris Palladino, who's been an incredible partner and really just a wonderful person to get to know. The fantastic team from the New Brunswick Development Corporation, President Jonathan Holloway, Rutgers Board of Governors Chair Amy Towers, and all the constituents from Rutgers University, including my team over there, Mayor Cahill, and our political partners, Bernard Cook, Joe Gingoli, Ron Rios, Tim Sullivan, and all of the distinguished presenters from many sectors here today who've all shared a role in this visionary project. Most importantly, and I'll say I drive down Easton Avenue every day on my way to work. I could go a different route, but I don't, because I want to drive by what's happening here. I want to thank all of the hardworking tradespeople who've helped to bring our new medical school. I have watched it rise from nothing over these last several months, and it's just been a real joy. So recently, Chris sent me an email. You remember, Chris, you sent me an email of one of you, I don't know which one, suspended from a beam, securing bolts high up in the air. It was an incredible photo, and his email said that this is what it takes to bring Rutgers School of Medicine to life. Thank you for all that you're doing through inclement weather, through difficult and challenging circumstances. I do really appreciate, in fact, every day wave and say thank you on my way to work. It's been incredibly exciting to watch this building progress and to witness your expertise. Thank you for bringing our dream to life. If you build it, they will come. You have built it, and here we come. What is to come is a revolutionary, state-of-the-art center of learning, research, and industry, all here in New Brunswick. The Helix Complex is truly the public-private partnership for huge investment in life sciences and medical education in New Jersey. Our new medical school building will be a game changer for our medical school. Now is the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School and soon to be the Rutgers School of Medicine. This new medical home will promote active learning and provide spaces for collaboration and innovation. And I will say, we are already partnering with our future neighbors, the Nokia Bell Lab Group, and have some really exciting things happening in that space already. It is pivotal, especially in this day and age, to have modern, state-of-the-art medical school close to the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, to the Rutgers Cancer Institute, and to the Eric B. Chandler Health Center, and other downtown clinical outlets. The Helix Complex will serve as the new home for the medical school and stand as an innovation hub for our state. We are thrilled that our medical students will learn while surrounded by outstanding researchers. Our learners will also be exposed to the latest teaching and learning modalities, including a futuristic simulation complex. Really exciting opportunity. That's my simulation person. Our facilities are not the only area growing dramatically in the coming years. As mentioned already, the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School will integrate with the New Jersey Medical School by 2028 to create the Rutgers School of Medicine, which will become, pay attention, very important, probably the second largest medical school in the United States, a pride point for our state. This allows for amazing opportunities for our learners. Each campus, New Brunswick and Newark, will offer access to research opportunities that impact the health of New Jersey residents. The new medical school within the Helix Complex will undoubtedly play a critical role in all of that work. Thank you today for today's ceremony. We look forward to celebrating the ribbon cutting for our shiny new medical school building. Congratulations to all of you, and again, thank you.
We're almost done, guys, and then there's lunch. I need to recognize Paul Hoffman and Mr. Krusha Timur from our sister project up in Jersey City, SciTech City. Our next speaker has been fully engaged with the Helix since the first day he came to Trenton. And I showed up at his office and he winced. And he could not have been more supportive, creative, and motivated. Whenever we're up against it, and that happens, maybe a little frustrated, Tim would hold a copy of Building a Stronger and Fairer Economy and say, failure is not an option, and read pages 36 to 40. The governor is counting on us. Tim has always been a believer in the Helix ecosystem, the power of collaboration, and he played a pivotal role in ensuring that Nokia Bell Labs recommitted to New Jersey and committed to the site right over here. We're fortunate to have Severine Sirek of Nokia here today with us. So Severine, let's make sure that Tim pitches the first shovel of dirt at the groundbreaking of Bell Labs' 380,000 square foot research facility 6 months from now. Tim Sullivan has been a real partner, along with his colleagues Kathleen Coviello and George Santos. The NJEDA has been the glue that has kept the innovation partnership together. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Sullivan, the CEO and president of NJEDA.
Thank you, Chris, for that very, very kind introduction, while also reminding me to be brief because it's lunchtime soon. It's great to be here. What an extraordinary morning we're having. I will be brief because I've heard so many wonderful words about this great project. I just want to recognize what an extraordinary crop of speakers I'm privileged to join. Our leaders at the city, the county, the state legislative level, the leadership team from Rutgers. Extraordinary opportunity to be with all of you, and thank you for the kind words about this project. On behalf of Governor Murphy, we are so excited about what's happening here at H1, what's going to be happening at H2. I think we're standing on H3, is that right, Chris? Which will happen next. And it's just an extraordinary journey. Dr. Carl Van Horn, also of Rutgers, when I was first talking to him and Jose about trying to convince them that I should get to do this job when they were running the transition committee, we talked about this project. First time I ever met Joe Kelly was talking about this project. I think he wanted to put a casino here or something. I forget. I forget what it was. It wasn't this idea. I promise it wasn't that idea, Joe. But it's been a real journey to get from here to there. My dear friend and partner, Commissioner Rob Angelo, is here as well. Who's been a great partner in getting us here. A couple of things, just a couple shout outs within the EDA family. One, our board chair, Terry O'Toole, is here. And so he's the guy who has to actually approve and say yes to anytime we make a move. Rob's on our board as well. And then two of our great leaders, Kathleen Coviello, and where'd George go? George Santos. George in the bed, didn't get George's seat. Kathleen, if there's anything going on good and there's lots going on that's great under Governor Murphy's leadership in the innovation economy, it's likely got Kathleen's fingerprints all over it. Similarly, if there's something exciting being built here in New Brunswick or across the state, George and his team in our real estate department have likely had a huge role to play in it. A couple quick things I just want to say. I think this project really brings together three themes I just want to highlight, and I'll highlight them quickly, I promise. One, momentum in New Brunswick, and the mayor's been, I shorted you 10 years when I was introducing you to Terry, 34 years as mayor. I would put New Brunswick's momentum and progress over that period of time, pound for pound, against any American city for revitalization, for dynamism, driven by, in so many ways, Rutgers' excellence and growing excellence every single day in so many ways. This partnership at the legislative level, Senate President Sweeney's here, Speaker, his extraordinary leadership, the legislature, the county, the city, the state, it all comes together to make things happen here. The second theme I'd mention is the innovation economy. Chris was good enough to hold up the State of Innovation report that we put out on October 1st of 2018. It's about to have its 6th birthday. My copy is in much worse shape than the one Chris just showed, but I keep it in my briefcase. And it talked about Governor Murphy's overriding ambition for the economy as a way to create jobs, create prosperity, create a fairer economy, but creating more new jobs in New Jersey was by recapturing our leadership position in innovation and entrepreneurship. No structure better embodies that vision than the Helix and H1 and soon H2. We are seeing huge momentum in our innovation economy. We're now in the first half of the year ranked number 3 in the country for venture capital investment. We're seeing new business formation happening at a much faster rate. We're seeing innovations spring up all throughout the state and new companies coming to life. The Helix NH1 is going to be the beating heart of the New Jersey innovation ecosystem, and it's an extraordinary, extraordinary accomplishment. The third thing I just want to mention is the power of partnerships. Everywhere you look here, and I've neglected to mention by name a number of people who are here, everywhere you look there's a partner who deserves thanks and has their fingerprints in this building and in this structure. Whether that's RWJ Barnabas, Hackensack, Rutgers, of course, Princeton, the EDA, lots of our partners throughout state government. But orchestras, even if they have very talented players, have a conductor. And Chris and the team at DevCo, Marissa and Sarah, right by his side, have been extraordinary leaders of this effort. I want to thank them and recognize them. And our partnership here and on projects all throughout the state with the men and women of the building construction trades to build great buildings like this is second to none. That partnership is incredibly important. And it also demonstrates that in New Jersey, particularly under Governor Murphy's leadership, we can get big things done. I sent a letter earlier this week that got a little bit of attention to a sports franchise on the other side of the Delaware River, telling them that they should come to Camden and build a world-class mixed-use development on the Camden waterfront. And they should. I hope they're watching. They should. It'll be the best decision they ever make. One of the things I touted in that letter on behalf of Governor Murphy was when we can get big things done in New Jersey, whether that's the Windport way down in South Jersey and Salem County, whether that's Netflix over in Monmouth County, and I pointed specifically to the Helix right here in New Brunswick. Whether it's passing legislation, Senate President Sweeney and Speaker Coughlin and the governor passed the Economic Recovery Act that fueled a lot of the incentives that power these projects, whether that's committing the whole of government approach that Governor Murphy has done here and lots of other places, we can get big things done. No better example than the Helix, no bigger impact than a project that I can imagine than this one. Thank you, appreciate the chance to be here. Congratulations to everyone. Let's give it up again for the folks who built this damn thing. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
I want to recognize Gary Taffet from the Rutgers Board of Governors is here. Dan Harris, Speaker Coughlin's right-hand man, is somewhere here, and he's the guy that we all count on whenever things get messy. And I can't understand what the legislation means. Middlesex County is the most technologically advanced county in the state. John Polomina has brought state-of-the-art technology to IT management, parking systems, ride-sharing, smart building management. They're going to be a core partner in this building. He's established a partnership with Rutgers that will make New Brunswick the test bed for autonomous vehicle development in New Jersey. And by the way, Severine, he's a former Bell Labs employee. So our next speaker is one of my favorite elected officials. He has a unique skill set, able to lead an ambitious economic development initiative and be deeply engaged in issues that concern working men and women. I have been in meetings with Director Rios where we're discussing autonomous technology, housing for the unhoused. We're planning a Workers' Day memorial. He's a true Renaissance man, and we're lucky to have him. Director Rios.
Wow. It does my heart good to see all these union labor workers right here. Let's give them another round of applause. I'm honored to be here this morning for today's topping off ceremony for the Health and Life Science Exchange, or the Helix. I'd like to take a moment to thank some of the key stakeholders and valued partners who are here with us today, including, let's see, we have obviously Mayor Cahill, we have from the County Board of Commissioners, Clarabelle Escona-Barber, we have Leslie Koppel and Charlie Tamaro, we have our clerk, Nancy Pinkin, we have our surrogate, Clarabelle Cortez, County Prosecutor Yolanda Ciccone. From the Assembly, we have Joe Danielson. Mayors, we have Mayor Elsie Foster from Highland Park. And, of course, our very own here, Mayor Jim Cahill. Over the past 10+ years, Middlesex County has been on a journey to create a sustainable economic system through strategic public and private partnerships and key investments in education and infrastructure. That vision is already coming to life in several ways, including the Helix, which will further establish Middlesex County as an epicenter of innovation and collaboration, a place where discoveries are made, ideas become reality, economic growth is fostered, and the future begins to take shape. The Helix will have an incredible impact on the county's life sciences sector, bolstering our reputation as a regional hub for research and development. In fact, that's already beginning. Last year, along with our core partners from RWJ Barnabas Health and Hackensack Meridian Healthcare, as well as Rutgers University and Princeton University, we were proud to announce that the Helix will be home to Nokia Corporation's East Coast R&D operations. It is also the future home of the Command Center for Data City, the county's living laboratory for autonomous technology. The Helix is a great example of collaboration, something we in Middlesex County pride ourselves on, and is a critical piece of the county's broader economic strategy that includes our recently announced educational investment in the Heldridge Hotel and Conference Center, as well as our Community Innovation and Opportunity CIO Strategic Investment Plan that is transforming the Middlesex College campus into a regional destination for academics, athletics, entertainment, and the arts, and the modernization of the New Brunswick train station and construction of the North Brunswick train station. Together, we're building a better future here in Middlesex County, and we're doing it with union labor. Because, as we all know, when you want something done right, you get union workers to do it. In fact, the Helix is being constructed entirely with union labor, providing hundreds of jobs to those involved in construction. And what a job they've been doing. Seeing what was for so long an empty pit, now rapidly transforming into a home for technology and innovation, has truly been impressive. My colleagues and I on the Board of County Commissioners are thankful for the ongoing partnership and collaboration of the Middlesex County Building and Construction Trades Council and the AFL-CIO Continuing Labor Council and their members. As this final beam is positioned, secured, and welded to the Helix, we embark on a new chapter in completing this massive project. Every beam, every brick, and every nail in this building is crucial to the finished product. Similarly, every person involved in this undertaking, the designers, investors, engineers, and of course the construction workers, are contributing in various vital ways to the success of this project and to the larger vision for economic development and quality of life in Middlesex County. The Helix is the product of partnerships, craftsmanship, and a whole lot of elbow grease, and it will serve as both an anchor and a launch pad for innovation in Middlesex County for decades to come. On behalf of the entire Board of County Commissioners, I want to thank everyone involved in this project. I'm grateful to all of our partners, especially our union partners, for their help. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention New Brunswick Mayor Jim Cahill, the City Council, and everyone else at DEFCO for being such wonderful partners in helping to shepherd this project every step of the way. I can't wait to see this final finished project. Thank you.
Moving a project such as the Helix forward would not be possible without our friends in organized labor. And we've been fortunate that the leadership of the Middlesex County Building and Construction Trades Council have been all in. The new president is extending that tradition. And Bernie, for the record, we have at least another 1 million square feet to build on the Helix site. We're going to keep The men and women you represent busy, and we will continue to rely on your team for help. Ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Cook, the President of the Middlesex County Building and Construction Association.
Good morning, everyone. What a great day for New Brunswick, this county of Middlesex, and our men and women of the building trades. You know, there's a saying by the New Jersey State Building Trades President, William Mullen. He says, all we do is build. I'd like to think it's much more here in Middlesex County because our partnerships, our relationships with our elected officials and the developers, they get us here in Middlesex. It allows us to be, I think, the premier building trades chapter in New Jersey. You know, it's because of those partnerships that we have the highest market share, union market share, and it really is a testament to our building trades men and women. We get to showcase their excellence, their highly skilled labor, and for that we are very grateful. Thank you. Everyone enjoy your day.
Our last speaker is truly a man for all seasons and states, Texas, New Jersey. You guys check out Architectural Digest, page 6. JJS has been our partner on some of the most complicated and important projects in the state over the last 20 years. Always on time, always on budget. Now please remember that they have a lot to say about what the budget is and what the schedule is. But what really differentiates JJS under Joe Gingoli's leadership is his real commitment to not only meeting community impact goals, but exceeding them. For Joe, it's not about meeting quotas, but putting programs in place that create results and fundamental change by creating opportunity. Joe is a firm believer that if you give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. His approach to construction, to working with people who are in need, makes all of us who work with him better. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Joe Gingoli.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you for the whole DevCo team. You've taken the concept that social responsibility could be a currency and turned it into a fact. And therefore, that makes it sustainable. When you choose who works for you and who works on your projects, yes, schedule is really important, Marissa. Sarah, budget, we get you, we hear you. Safety, really, really important. Dennis Makaitis, the head of our GC division, and his whole team. You're the safest contractor in New Jersey. But you took the concept of social responsibility, you said when we choose our vendors, we're going to weigh that heavily too. And then you hold us accountable. I get phone calls in the middle of the night and early in the morning from Chris and from the mayor. How's the program going? How are the young people doing? Where are we at? What's the count? Is it successful? So how do we pick the next generation to be our workers, our union workers, to have health care, to make a living wage, to have an opportunity to feed their families? How do we recruit them? Where do we find them? They're right here. We have to listen. We have to listen to our community. We have to listen to what the young people say. Because what we've found is they're right. All they need is an opportunity and to be trained and have a very short time span from when you're trained to when you go to work. And our partnership with every single member of organized labor, not once have I picked up the phone and said, I've got one. They're ready to go. They'll tell me we've got an apprentice class start. We go, great, we're going to have them shadow some of the people on the job. One of the things we heard from young people is that the connectivity in the community doesn't exist for them to go from where they live to having a hard hat and a vest and having a union job and making a living wage. How do we change that? So we we took what Kevin Egan and myself and so many of us had summer jobs, right? You weren't allowed to go to the shore, you had to go to work during the week. I know that. How do we mimic our kitchen tables that created careers for all of us? And how do we do that? So we start younger. So we started a program with DevCo called Leaders in Training. And what we do is we partner with the city. We find 50 young people every summer. We pay them $15 an hour, and they get to know us. We get to know them. They spend time at the hospital. They spend the time at DevCo. They spend the time in the community. They do public works. They get to meet all of us, and we start to draw the line. We leave those 3 breadcrumbs that they need to follow to have a living wage, health care, and a great opportunity in a career. So we start a year, 2 years, sometimes 3 years before we start a job. So this particular project we're talking about today, 3 years, 150 students, and Chris and I have committed to keep this program going. Chris always gets nervous when I get the mic and I'm giving our money away. You know, the next piece of this is the next group of leaders in our companies, the managers, the superintendents, but also the senior management and the C-suites. Where do we start? We partnered with P-Tech here in New Brunswick, and we are one of the anchor, I think there's 3 in our class, 3 anchor companies. We're one of them. And what we've done so far is 20 students over the past 3 years have worked summers for us. And during the school year, we're in there interfacing and teaching them and how do they become us and how do they work on our projects. And the people that they're actually going to work for and with are in their classrooms, so they get to know them. And some of them are here today, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a little while. The hard hats. How do we find that next group of union workers and the next generation? Where do we find them? Where do we recruit them? Well, they're all around us. So we run classes constantly where we coordinate with and work with local organizations to find people who want to do what we do, but don't know how to get there. So we make that investment in those individuals, and we run the classes in coordination with our building trades and in coordination with where the project is, so that when the project needs them, they're graduating and they're ready to go to work. Some current information in the state of New Jersey that we brought to our attention a couple of years ago, we decided to try to help and start to address. There are 300,000 parole and probationers in New Jersey. 215,000 of them are in arrears for their child support. And they can't get a job because they've had a record, there's transportation issues, there's child care issues, there's wreckage of the past, and there's $4 billion that's not going through our economy, through them, to pay their child support. So we are taking care of those children and not well. Way better if they have a job with a living wage and health care, and that they can in turn take care of their own children. And we have to relieve these barriers that are in front of them. So how are we doing that? Chief Justice Rabner, Justice Grant, and Judge Sanson asked us if we would be the first company to take part in what's called the JOBS program. And we have, and we are running classes, and those people are working productively. They are everything that was said. 7,000 people in 2 years have come through that program, some with us, many with others, Wakefern and other great companies in New Jersey who have stepped forward to take part in this program. So there are 7,000 people making a living wage with health care, paying their child support, and making a better state and a better economy for all of us. And you know, when we take one of these great projects and we end up taking the tentacles and reaching out into every community, reaching out into the classroom, reaching out into the apartment buildings and the homes. And when we touch all of them, what we're doing becomes sustainable. And I'm really grateful. I have one thing that I wanted to leave, a couple of things I wanted to say. There's a group from our Competitive Edge program here, and if everybody would raise their hand from our Competitive Edge, if anyone would like to know how the sausage is made, you're part of Competitive Edge, raise your hand. They'll tell you how the sausage is made, how they went from where they were to where they are now, and what they're doing to bring their peers along with them. So, this is for you guys. There will be people who say to you, you're out of your lane. They are burdened by only having the capacity to see what has been instead of what can be. Don't let that burden you. Kamala Harris. Thanks.
Okay, the easy part. You're all welcome to come up and sign the beam, and then we'll raise the beam. There's lunch in the back. There's hats in the back. And thank you all for coming, and we'll see you at the ribbon cutting that we promised Governor Murphy will be before the end of his first term. Thank you very much.